How you doing, guys? I decided also this week to questions and answers for my YouTube channel, Chatterbox Live, and let me go over a little bit about my channel as well. Statistics. I usually don't get a lot of followers, some of which is my fault because I'm not the best public speaker. I do have short-term memory loss, which makes it really hard to remember things, which is why I nearly write everything down and have show notes for all my topics. But it's a learning disability I've had all my life, so I mean, you can only do what you can do, right? But it kind of goes up and down. It's getting close to 500 viewers. Appreciate your support for who do follow me, and if you do like my channel, please follow me. And I've been trying to put out videos on a weekly basis. I used to do a weekly live internet show for a very long time, actually 8 years. I stopped doing it simply because of my job and having a baby. I might still get into it every once in a while. I actually might move to YouTube Live. I did it on Justin TV. They closed it out for Twitch, and I moved to Ustream, and simply all my viewers just went away except for one. I think was pretty loyal, so I might still do live broadcasts through YouTube Live occasionally, but pretty much my YouTube channel where you're going to find most of my tech stuff. Like I said, I don't get many followers, but my viewers or my views actually doubled. I used to hover around anywhere from 150 to 300. Now it's going from 300 to 500 or 450, somewhere around there. So it has doubled, which is great. So let's go through some of these question and answers since last time. I have two people, Steve Harris and Tosh Lubick. Hopefully I said your name right. And this was on the Canon XF100 firmware upgrade video. I kind of put it out there for people who have that camera, how you'll go about updating the firmware. They says, thanks, Steven, this is very helpful, and thanks for sharing. Yeah, I like to help this community who have similar products, and I figure it might help them as well, so appreciate that. And this is from Mark Jones. I'm trying to figure out, I think this is on the Windows 10 video, and I'm just doing this impromptu. I jumped ship after the Vista failure, got into Ubuntu Linux. Since then, I went to Debian, and now finally Mint Linux. And he goes into, I hope people are smart enough that they do the same if they go subscription. I would never pay someone a fee just to use my PC. Of course, I theorize there possibly maybe a subscription on Windows 10, maybe. And I think this is what I went into, some of the problems with Windows 10. I think that actually popped up again for some, now it may be for some advanced features or possibly maybe business use. Of course, business is entirely different through their support, and perhaps not going to be the same for their average consumer, everyday consumer. Now, I'm trying to think. Now, I forgot to slip my mind, but so yeah, I kind of agree in some instances. Now, this next one, this had to do with me live streaming using just the camera itself, not more of a remote news thing that I've tried out rig. I've only used once or twice, and this was using the Teradek cube, which was right here. I think this right here, just giving an example. And I'm contemplating it using on a couple of times. Now, he put this question or statements from Skeptic, I think, on YouTube. You should do a video tutorial how you set up your gears, and which software hardware did you use to live streaming, that would be great. Thanks anyways. Now, I did put a video out, and originally it was for another YouTube member. It said, you know, list how the equipment you use and how you do it. So actually, I did it using my live setup, all the way from the hardware, the software, applications. So I actually recorded my desktop software as well. Not so much my live streaming remote rig, and basically it uses just the camera and the Teradek cube sending it out. Now, originally I did use in fact, let me see if I can find it. It's a little doggle from Clearwire right here using USB. The Teradek does use can use USB modems, or you can do it wirelessly or even a LAN connection. Unfortunately, this was bought out by Sprint, and this doesn't work anymore. So thank you, Sprint, for discontinuing that. There's other ways you can do it as well. It's just much harder to do it. There are support using different dongles, perhaps. So I don't know. Possibility I might do it. I simply don't use it enough to really justify a video, perhaps. But if you look through some of my older videos, I do show how I do my live show here in detail, if you want to see that as well. Somebody asked me on one of the cameras I use for my live stream, which is the HDR CX550 VE. And originally, a lens cup is kind of, if you use it on a bright sunny day outside, and it kind of keeps the lens, shades the lens from the bright sun, and you have problems with exposure and other things. Plus, too, it does have a secondary use. It protects the lens, especially you have a more expensive lens, which I do use in my Canon C100. So I always use a lens cap just to protect the lens. Unfortunately, on that version, it is very expensive. I bought the lens cap, or lens hood, excuse me, lens hood, and a microphone as well. And it was fairly expensive. There's probably a better option going through Amazon or I'm trying to think some of the web auction sites. You can get them fairly cheap. So do your research, and I'd probably use one of those than getting the actual Sony hood lens. This one comes from Angel. I can't pronounce the last name. It's Otinano. I'm sorry if I messed you guys' name up. And this is using the soundboard for Mac. You can actually put in sound clips and intros, outros, and things like that. And I used it actually quite during my show. Now, I haven't used it for a couple of years. I just simply didn't need it. It is very useful, though. One of the best out there. And hi, I cannot buy the product. Is there a free version? I haven't checked for that software application. I'm sure they do have a free trial with restrictions, but more than likely they don't. But it is well worth the price for what you use it for. It's very easy to use, very intuitive as well. Now this next one question is from Mark Swataker. Hopefully I said your name right. And this had using the Teradek cube with the Wirecast. They do have a Wirecast plugin where you can simply it would beam, using Wi-Fi or whatever to Wirecast, and use it as a remote camera and move around using Wirecast without any wires. And he asked, what about the sound embedded in HDMI? Yes, it should work as a sound input without problems. Now, it depends how you do it as well. You don't necessarily have to use the sound through HDMI. You could use your particular setup. You may have to set it up using a mini jack. I think it's 3.5 millimeter to the device, because not everything supports you might actually use it a different way, perhaps. So you can use it through that as well, several different ways. Yeah, it should be able to use the sound through the HDMI into your plugin. And I'm trying to see what else. And this last question is from GIF India, and this is used the Color Finale 1.5 plugin. He goes, "Hi, good information, but I need a completed tutorial. Often I don't always use or make tutorials always for all the software products that I'm showing, or hardware software products. Sometimes it's just putting out the information to my viewers or YouTube, say, hey, this is out, show them more of a demo than a tutorial. And sometimes there's just so many tutorials out there, you can easily find it on YouTube anyway, so it's not just me. If I think it's something, there's not a lot of videos out already on YouTube, I may do a tutorial, simply because there's not many out there for my specific problem that I use to solve it. And then I might do a video tutorial on that. Okay, so that's some of my questions, statistics on my YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more as they come in. Thank you.